So in my shop at home, my tape just hangs randomly on the walls or sits in my windowsills. Thought I'd try to design and make my own tape dispenser. I know you guys all love my fine sketches, but here's my sketch. It's kind of like a Scotch tape dispenser, just way bigger. I have all my sizes here figured out. That my sides are 2 at 1/4 inch by 4.5 by 8. My ends, the one end is 3/4 by 3 by 3.5. The other's 3/4 by 3.5 by 4.5. That's the back side. My center dowel, which I jumped down one, sorry, is a 1/2 inch diameter dowel, about 3.25 inches long. And then my center block is 2.25 by 2.25 inch square. There's the my nice sketch showing the center for the tape holder. Just a block of wood with a dowel, and then tenons cut on the dowels to slide down into the holder. And my side sketch, no, it's not too elaborate, but here's my finished product, so that you get an idea that when it's all said and done, I have my piece in the center that holds the tape, which is the center block. For my center block here, I have these little tenons cut on the ends, so that slides down into the notches onto the side of the holder. Right here, right here, these are at a 30-degree angle from this 1/4 inch hole I drilled first. Then saw blade mounted to the front. Other side is just the same as the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and get started cutting my sides and end pieces, mainly using my table saw, and we'll go from there. So I'm over here at my table saw, found a piece of scrap hardwood paneling sort of material. I'm going to set my rip fence to 4.5 inches and going to cut this into strips. The blade about a 1/4 inch above the stock. Okay, got those cut down, 4.5. My end pieces are 3.5 inches wide. I believe my stock is already at 3.5. Yep, so that one's good. I'm going to cut the end pieces to length using my miter gauge and a stop block. So I know they're 8 inches long. I have this stop block that fits over my rip fence, and right here I know this dimension is a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna put on my rip fence, set it to 8.5. That way my strips I cut will be 8. So what's gonna happen here is the saw I'll push the miter gauge forward. So I start out with it here tight against this stop block. As I push it forward, it's no longer touching the fence, so it's not going to get bound and want to kick back. There I cut 2 sets of sides, enough to make 2 tape dispenser holders. I guess since I cut enough sides to make 2 dispensers, I better cut enough end material to 3.5 inches wide. Normally I'd have my dust collector going, but it's really loud and you wouldn't be able to hear anything. Okay, so now I have my pieces I need for my front and back. Looking at my dimensions, I know that one is 3 inches and one is 4.5 inches respectively. I'm going to mark 4.5 inches on the end of one, 3.5 inches from the end of the other one. And because I don't want to measure everything twice, I'll actually just stack them up. Use my tri-square. Just quick draw my lines across. Go over to my miter saw. One end lined up with my mark. Again, lining it up to cut on the scrap side. Leave the saw down till it stops and break it up. So my 2 pieces that are 4.5 for my 2 backs, since I'm making 2. And then, instead of just cutting, this is my other piece I need, which is the bottom end, my 3.5. I spin it around so it's even with the end of my second board. Line them up just like the first. And cut those 2 at once. Again, cutting on the scrap side of my line. So now I have my front and my back and my sides made. So I have my sides here, and I have my back pieces, and then my front pieces are right here. I'm going to lay out and cut the slot to hold the tape holder. Find my tape measure. So knowing that it's 8 inches, I'm going to mark 4. And then half of 4.5 is 2.25. I'm going to do that on one of each of these pieces. And then to help keep everything together, I'm actually just going to use some tape instead of trying to clamp them. Just going to tape them together so that they are more likely to stay where they're supposed to be as they're being drilled and cut. It's pretty hard to cut pieces of wood that are clamped together on the bandsaw, since the clamps would be severely in the way and hitting the table. So I got my center points marked. Going to use a piece of scrap wood and a 1/4 inch drill bit. Piece of scrap wood being there for a backer board so I don't completely demolish the other side of the dispenser. Drilled my holes. Now I can lay out my 60-degree angles. So I have a tool right here that has a gauge in the middle that will let me set it to given angles. In this case, I'll set it to the angle I need. In this case, a 60-degree angle. Put it up to my adjustable T-bevel. As you can see there, lock it down in place. And then I can use that T-bevel off of those center points. Sorry, off of the sides of the circles. See right there, here's my circle. Just gonna nudge that over until it's lining up. I'm gonna go ahead and mark both sides. Go ahead and do that to both chunks since I guess I'm making 2 dispensers now.